Good evening, everyone. It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with a special, and I mean special installment of the Friday spotlight when this drops. Man, if y'all have been living under a rock, you must not know that this Sunday there is a big time card happening with the good brothers at Progress. And if you want to watch it, we've been plugging it on every daily. You got to go on the Demand Progress Plus 50% off, man. They got a special one and we got a special show cuz we have a interview today with a gentleman that is on the card. A lot of controversy going on within his match, but it's also an exciting time because this is a return for him in ring after a little bit of time. We have Ethan Allen, and before we bring him on there, we got to do this with my wonderful co-host, the First Lady of Wrestling Republic, Megan. How are you?
Hey everybody, happy morning, afternoon, and evening whenever you're watching this. Um, I'm really excited for this interview. I read a little bit about Mr. Allen and the upcoming match that he has on Sunday, and I'm just really excited to pick his brain a little bit and feel him out before this big match.
No doubt, and likewise, I am super excited for this interview. So let's go into it, man. The guest for today, Mr. Ethan Allen. How are you doing, bro?
I'm all right, mate. I am all right. I'll be better on Sunday once I've kicked the Reese's head in. But right now, I'm chilling. I'm good. So yeah, I'm excited.
I like it. I like it. And like I said, man, we appreciate you being on here with us today. Let's get right into it, man. Sunday, you just mentioned it. You are on the card. Stay young and invincible. You and your partner Luke Jacobs, the Young Guns. It's only fitting that the card is suited with y'all's names, right? And y'all got a big time match, man. I want to kind of just get right into it, man. Your attack on Man Like the Reese at chapter 172, that was a bold statement. I want to just ask you, like, going into it, what were the motives in it? And like, what is your takes on Derice as a wrestler? Like, what sparked this tension between both of you guys?
I think the Reese is great. I'm not taking anything away from him in that sense. But me and Luke, we had some talks and we just felt like the time was right. It's been a long time coming. Progress was a company throughout lockdown that we helped, kept afloat. Me and Luke were two of the wrestlers who wrestled the most and put the most work in. And obviously, since coming back in March, we've been thinking about it. We've been thinking about it, but Luke's done his thing. We've let him do his thing, and now we felt like the time was right. So, yeah, the other Sunday we did it, and we made the statement. And obviously, Therese is crying now, so more fooling. But yeah, he's coming to our house on Sunday, so we'll see how it goes. I know how it's going to go, but I'll let you find out.
Oh man, so I guess we're getting a bit of a spoiler out the gate. This is going to be a complete wash on their side with you
I'm,
guys.
I'm not. I'm not going to undermine him, like I said, but mate, we're going to batter him. We're going to batter him. They'll probably give it us back, but again, in our house, they're going to get done in. There's no question about it. They are getting done in.
I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like all four proponents of this match are super talented professional wrestlers. I'm a big fan of both of you guys. I think that you definitely, like I mentioned, coming in with a statement at the last show. Megan, I know you had a follow up question in regards to this as well.
Yes, yes. I do understand that you said you don't want to take anything away from Darius, but I have to ask if do you see him as a threat to you and Luke's dominance in progress, or was the attack more about just sending a message to the rest of the roster?
Bit of both, to be honest. Bit of both. Again, he's always going to be a threat. He's one of the most active people. One of the most active indie wrestlers in the world. Is every time I see him, he's on a plane. He's always making statements everywhere he goes, but I don't think he's as much as a threat he thinks he is to Luke. I think he does need that help of Leon, which is why he's obviously brought him in. He doesn't seem to be able to get the job done by himself. And Luke has obviously proved that up and down the UK and all over the world that he can get the job done. So I don't think he's a threat. It was just the right time to come in and do him in. And it was just him. And if it was anyone else, I'd have done the exact same. It was just unfortunate that Darius was caught in the crossfire, but he's still a weapon. So
it is
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like you got a stone cold killer approach to this. Like I'm
Right.
looking at how you're reacting to it, and it's
you've
it's
got to,
something that go ahead. What you gonna say?
yeah, I was gonna say you've got to. Like, I've been away for 3 years. Like the last time me and Luke teamed in Progress, was lockdown. So what was that? 2021.
Hmm.
It's a long time coming. So again, if I'm coming in, I've got to make that statement. I've got to show people who I am. I've got to remind people because if I don't do that, then people are just going to brush me off. So I'm like, sweet, you're making some noise, so I'm going to make some louder noise and just beat shit out of anyone who's in my way. And Darius, again, like I said, was that person, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Not my problem.
I like it. I like it. You just touched on something that I also wanted to bring up. You have stated that Luke Jacobs has been someone who's kind of kept progress, you know, running and afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic. What was your experience like, and how did it shape your goals for the promotion during that whole time frame?
COVID was a weird time because none of us knew where we stood. None of us knew what was going on. And each taping we was just taking it show by show. There was a lot of change behind the scenes. Which again don't really matter to us as wrestlers. We just go in and just do our jobs. And again, like me and Luke kind of felt lost. We kept getting thrown in a team together, then we'd be doing singles and we get me thrown in a team. But again, we just kept getting the job done. I didn't have the best of records, but again, in a time where life was all over the show, like I didn't beat myself up about it too much because there was a lot going on. But it was a time that molded us into the wrestlers we were when we come out of lockdown and we started taking over the UK. And then obviously once Progress started running live shows again, I got hurt. So obviously I've been out for the few years that they've been running live shows again. So again, the timing was terrible, but exactly that's why I've come in and made this noise now because I have no option but to do it.
And I respect that. And also to that point, right? You've been gone for a little bit. What are what's the goals and aspirations this time around? Being gone for a couple years, I believe, correct? You're
Three.
back. 3 years, right? You're back. It looks like you're in good health, good shape. What are your aspirations coming into it now? Besides obviously the big time match on Sunday, but just in progress in totality, because I know that you're teaming with him, but you're also teaming with a champ. I'm curious to see,
Oh,
do your eyes kind of glance at that title a little bit too?
got goals in progress. As just to hit the ground running. Obviously, starting this Sunday, it's a big match. I ain't gonna shy away from that. It's a big match. There's a lot of pressure, but again, being in our hometown, like this was Manchester's the only time me and Luke have teamed together in Progress on a live show. Obviously, we did a load of tapings, but the Ritz is the only time we have teamed together against Pretty Deadly. And I was 18 at the time, so I was an absolute child. So 5, 6 years later, we're completely different wrestlers, we're completely different people. And our relationship is stronger than ever. People try to throw some shade at us when they're on about the belt and stuff like that. I'm not asked about the belt. I'm just asked about making statements, and I can't say enough. But us getting the job done. We've wrestled each other countless times. If I beat him, he's beat me. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I look at his belt. Of course, I want the belt, but I'm not going to let that get in between the two of us because people have tried to do it time and time again. And Luke's a very independent person. I understand that. He understands that. So we don't let it get in between the two of us. We're a well-oiled machine. We know what we're doing. We go in there, we get the job done, and people know that. But we just need to remind people because they've not seen it in so long. So, and again, you'll see that Sunday.
I like that, man. It's definitely a motivating factor for you, and I do like that approach. Megan, I know you had a question as well.
Yeah. Well, I just want to take it a step back for folks that might not be familiar with the Young Guns and how you came about. And during the interview that you did with Progress, you mentioned that joining forces with Luke was a long time coming. Can you elaborate on what sparked your partnership 8 years ago?
We started wrestling training a week. I started a week after Luke, and it was just by luck that we lived in the same area. We went to opposite schools, like rival schools, and then we ended up going to the same college. So obviously, within the first week or two of knowing each other, it was just we just was friends straight away, and we always knew that we'd end up doing stuff together in wrestling. And like when we was coming up, we didn't know whether we'd team together. I debuted a month before Luke, and then when we debuted in our home promotion, Future Shock, we was teamed together straight away, and since then that's all we've done. We've teamed together. Obviously, I've had a couple of injuries which have put stops to our momentum a little bit, but we have always been by each other's side, and that will always be the way. Whether I get hurt again, he gets hurt, or we get lucky and we never get hurt again and we just team, or he's doing single stuff, I'm doing single stuff, we will always know we're always in each other's side because that's how it's been for 8 years. It's how it'll be for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, however long we are wrestling, we will never leave each other's side. So again, it just shows that people like Darius and Leon, they say the boys, but they've not known each other for that long. They don't care about each other that much. It's just a fun tag team to do. Whereas we have got an actual brotherhood. We've actually got a bond. We've got a real friendship. So yeah, it's different.
Now, I'm not a wrestler, obviously, but I know like when it comes down to being from rival wrestling schools here in the states, there could be a little conflict. There could be a little issue. So
Oh,
you never like had.
It wasn't rival wrestling schools. It was rival high schools.
Oh
Oh,
wow!
Like that's how close I'm talking. It was
oh
rival high
wow.
schools.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we started at the same wrestling school. So yeah, there was no rival
Oh,
wrestling schools because there wasn't that many around us.
right.
It, it was just by chance that we started in the same place.
Wow.
Okay, that
Okay.
that that is remarkable that y'all have been kind of connected to the hip since y'all was even kids. I mean, to that question, you know, what kind of even got you? What made you realize that hey, one day I want to become a professional wrestler? What was the coming to awakening moment for that, or what aspirations built for it as well?
So I loved wrestling when I was a kid. Um, Obviously, being from the UK, you don't really know whether there's a scene anywhere apart from when you go to like holiday camps. Then you'll have like your mega slams and your all stars and stuff like that. But I just watched WWE and then I went off it when I got to school because everyone said, "Oh, wrestling's not cool" and stuff like that. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, wrestling's not cool." And then I just started watching it again one day, got really into it. Went to a WWE show in Manchester and then said to my dad, "I want to do it." So luckily enough, I found a school in Failsworth again, which was Future Shot. That was 10 minutes away from my house and the rest is history. I went to a session and never looked back, which is the cliche saying, but it is true. And yeah, just done it ever since. And because I've played high level sports throughout my childhood, I threw myself into it. Like I was there 4 or 5 times a week. I was putting in work. I was going to seminars as soon as I was old enough because I started when I was 14. As soon as I was like old enough to travel with
Wow.
people, um, I was in cars with people. I was reffing shows. I was selling merch. I was doing the ring, doing all the cliche jobs. But again, that's what I had to do to show people who I am and just become friends with people first, but then obviously make the connections to get into shows. And same with the seminars, doing like Drake Maverick seminars, Flash Morgan Webster seminars. There was Jay Lethal seminar. There was so many cool seminars that we did when I was younger. But I knew that if I could take these little bits of information that these give over time, it'll pay off when I start doing shows and stuff. And it did, because a lot of the stuff they said back then still resonates for me today.
And that's remarkable, man. Like being able to see someone do it at that young of an age, but still, you're still young within yourself, right? You say you was doing it 18 years old, which is a few years ago, and being able to do it where you are now, you got a lot of wrestling shelf life left in you as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
we started when we was 14, 23 now, so we've got a lot more in the tank.
Yeah.
for sure.
So you mentioned that you grew up watching wrestling. Was there any favorite wrestlers of yours that you grew up watching that kind of helped and kind of encouraged you to become a wrestler? And in that case, have you ever incorporated any of their personality or move sets into your own wrestling career?
You see, like, so yes, but so I loved Cena, obviously. Growing up, he was in his maybe not peak, but he was fucking unreal as a kid. I had all his t-shirts, all his belts, all his stuff like that. Daniel Bryan is a huge one. But it wasn't necessarily wrestlers as a whole. It was more just wrestling that got me. And then, obviously, like I say, I have a few favorites, but it was just wrestling that got me. And then once I started wrestling, I tried just copying loads of people in training, and it just never come off. And because of the type of person I am, I was like, everyone's like, you need a character, you need a character. I was like, I can't have a character. Like, I am my character. I'm too raw and passionate of a person to pretend to be something else. So now I am just me. I'm aggressive. Like when I used to play football to a high level, I was aggressive. I was ratty. I lash out at people. And now when you watch me, I'm aggressive. I'm ratty. I lash out at people. Um, I've seen a few people call me reckless, but I just I get too intense to pretend to play anyone else because I'm just me. And if I was playing something that wasn't, it just wouldn't feel right, and I'd feel like I'm half-arsing it. Whereas I know every time I'll go out there, I am laser focused on who I'm wrestling and what I'm doing. I've got my game plan. I know what I'm doing, and I just do it to the best ability I can do.
Okay.
And
Now I have a quick part two to that question. Because you mentioned two men, one who has recently retired from wrestling full time, and then you have one that will be embarking in his retirement tour in the next couple of weeks, months.
Yeah.
Um, Now, even though you have a lot of years left in your career, a lot of years, have you thought about if you is there a cap to when you would like to step away from wrestling, or do you see yourself like Ric Flair wrestling until you're white haired and a couple of grandkids? Like, do you see yourself wrestling forever?
So
Or
before my injuries, I'd have wrestled till I couldn't anymore. I'd have gone till I was 50, 60, because that was all my life was. But whilst being hurt, my values and my visions changed a little bit. Some to near enough the point of wanting to actually step away from wrestling. Um, Whereas now my values have changed again. I've got a business outside of wrestling which does really well, that I care about a lot. So a lot of my time in the week goes into building my business and taking care of my team and stuff like that. So I do have other things away from wrestling, but that still doesn't change the fact that I want to do this for a long time. I just want to make more of my time and not overstay my welcome. So again, I can't put an age in it. I'd probably say like what, late 30s, 40s, but I want to be in a position where I don't have to just wrestle for the money. I want to enjoy it and I want to do very, very well, but I don't want to do it to keep paying the bills, which is why during my time away, I thought there's no point in me just waiting around until I wrestle again, because then if I get hurt again, which there was a high chance, then I'd have to restart all again and then look for something where I was like, I've got the time now. I'm out for a couple of years. Let's just make use of the time and build a business and something that I care about just as much as wrestling, because now I work Monday to Friday within my business and then I wrestle at the weekends, but it doesn't feel like I'm working. So I'm just having fun 7 days a week and I'm just getting paid for it, which is the best of both worlds. And the flexibility of both jobs is something I've always wanted. So I just made sure that it lined up to my goals and my vision and my life that I wanted, and I've just made it happen. So yeah.
And just speaking as a person, right? Not even me being a wrestler, obviously, but having multiple streamlines of stuff that you can do is always the best just for your livelihood. So I commend you on that, man. That's
Yeah.
a wise way to approach life. Um I do want to talk about obviously Sunday, but more so with y'all being the tag team, the Young Guns. I'm an old man. When I hear the Young Guns, I think of the rap group from the early 2000s. So I don't know if y'all are gonna
So
wrestle Chris and Neef.
every time like people hear our name for like the first couple of times, they think of the film. Pretty sure there's a film, rap group, and then there's a new metal group called the Young Guns. So I fuck, we'll have to change it. But no, stick to our
Nah.
guns.
I'm
Stick
just
to our
glad
guns.
you knew the reference, though. I'm happy that you knew the
Yeah.
reference. Y'all got to come out to Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Uh, but but y'all is a team. I think you guys are both super talented, and obviously you returning is great for progress. Let's talk besides Sunday. Y'all, the Young Guns. What's the long term goal? And like, let's talk about challengers, right? Are y'all looking to embark and taking gold from teams? Because there's a lot of talented teams that do wrestle in progress. Are there, some opponents that y'all want to go with? And maybe even outside of the company, people that may come into it from the States, other promotions out in the UK?
Yeah, these pure teams who want to wrestle, subculture, the Aces, even Sky Smiths and LA Taylor. Lycos Gym would love to run it back. My Lycos Gym, obviously, Luke and Lycos had their story, and where obviously Luke took the belt off him, which we'd love to run back. There's so many teams. There's too many to even think of. The main one that sticks out to me is rerunning us versus GYV. Like they help teach me pretty much everything I know and everything I do now, and still do. Like I'll message them a lot, and we'll just chat about wrestling, and I'll go over and see them occasionally, just again as friends, but to also learn from them as well, because they took me under their wing when I was 14, so that's nearly 10 years now that I've known them for. And again, through being a fan of the work and them then almost mentoring me to now just being friends and rivals in a sense. Like we've had some good matches against them. Like again, they're not our best matches, but they're the ones where we learnt the most and they put us in the deep end. So now me and Luke are our own men and we don't need that arm putting round us. I'd love to see how that goes, because yeah, those guys have done more than they could ever imagine for us. So I'd love to run that back. But yeah, anyone and everyone, mate. I'm not one for dream matches, because I feel like when you leave someone out, someone will get upset. That's fucking way it is now, isn't it? But just anyone and everyone, I just want to test myself and show that I can go again, because for the first couple of months of being back, I was doubting myself a lot. Confidence levels were in the bin. Whereas now I'm starting to find my feet again, getting the ball rolling, kicking people's heads in. So yeah, any tag team who wants it, just let's have it, because me and Luke want to show that, yeah, we're good singles wrestlers, but as a tag team, we're the fucking bollocks. So,
I like that. I like that. And I'm learning that word from our counterparts on Wrestling Republic, bollocks, because I know what
bollocks.
that I know what that meant when they be saying that in the chat sometimes.
Hey, it's so British.
Yeah. Well, have you how about, past wrestling in, England and in the UK just in general? Have you had any aspirations of possibly even wrestling out in the States?
Yeah, 100%. I've just wrestled in Canada, which is as close as I've been up to now. Shout out to Smash and Mark Wheeler, to like a great promotion and a great guy. Um, I just went on holiday with my family, well, to see my girlfriend's family, and dropped Smash a message, and they sorted me out. And again, went there, got it done, shown everyone. But yeah, I'd love to wrestle in the States. Obviously, now Progress have got the work visas. Yeah, it's amazing that obviously they've put that investment into the talent. I think it's a huge step for British wrestling that. And obviously a lot of the lads, including Luke, have got one. And when I was out, that was something that I looked at and I was like, that is something I want to work towards. And so once I get that visa, hopefully, then I'll be out in the States because I don't want to do anything illegal. So, but yeah, 100%. Like maybe mid to end of next year, I want to get out in the States and start making names over there because like Costume have just come back and there's bigger Muppets as they are, like they've done a good job. So I'd like to go out there and do the same, if not better.
No, for sure. Like I think like if we're talking just independent scene, like you at a GCW, a House of Glory, stuff like that would definitely be fun. Defy, obviously, y'all got the
Yeah, they've
working
got the
relationship
Defy.
with them.
That's
That
amazing. Yeah, there's a few from like Luke's just done Deadlock. I think that's North
Deadlock Pro,
Carolina,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
it's North Carolina.
he had a mint time. Like he wrestled Speedball and Jake something and someone
Hmm.
else, can't remember. But yeah, he said he had a whale of a time. Obviously, apart from getting absolutely levered by Speedball, but it just. But yeah, we want to go and team out in the States, and even I want to do single stuff in the States. But it just takes time, unfortunately. But again,
Sure,
I'm all about a bit of graft. So with a bit of graft, and some conversations, then we can look at getting out there next year.
for sure, for sure. Megan, did you? I knew you had a
Yeah.
question coming up, so go ahead.
Um, you've been vocal about wanting to restore progress to its former glory. What drives your passion for this promotion, and what do you believe has been lost along the way?
I want to get progress back to what it was like when my dad took me when I was like 15, and the promotion that I used to get excited about working for again when I was like 15, 16. Because I used to go to the Rit shows with my dad as a fan before I started doing ring crew. Like I had done every job possible in this promotion, again, near enough. Apart from like a referee, I've sold merch, I've took the ring down, I've put the ring up, I've set the chairs out, I've been involved in angles where I've got battered by talent who I'm now working with. So there's a lot of backlogs with progress, and that's why I'm so passionate about making it what it once was and getting that feel back. Because now people going, oh, good wrestling. I want people to care. I want people do enjoy it, but I want people to go, fucking hell, this is the good shit, this. Because again, that's what me and Luke grew up on. We grew up on the punk rock, we grew up on the hardcore, we grew up on the no messing about, and everyone was just out to get each other. And now everyone's just dead soft. So we want to bring it back and make it what it once was. Especially because my dad goes, my dad's like, this is it's not what it was. I don't want that. I want my dad to go, this is mint, look at this. So yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of work for us to be done, and like you said, there's a lot of talking, but I'm confident we can do the work to get it back to what it once was.
for
Right.
sure. And just to touch on that briefly for a second, I definitely have to give progress the flowers. Me kind of being more new to it recently, obviously with the relationship we've got to work with them and watching a few of the shows. It's definitely been a fun, entertaining shows that they've delivered every single time. So y'all to just keep building and growing on it and restoring order, like you said, having it back to
Yeah,
its heydays is gonna be excited.
that's it. The shows are fun and they're entertaining, but no one wants it. You know what I mean? Everyone's just going out and having a nice time. No one's getting stuck in. No one's giving it large. So someone's got to do it. So me and Luke are.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Go ahead, Megan. You had another question?
Um, I'll wait it out. But go ahead.
Okay.
I'll wait it out.
Nah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, no, I had a question in regards to for the show on Sunday too, right? Obviously, you guys have a big time tag team match that's gonna happen. What just as a fan, right? You peeling back for a second, not thinking about your match. What are some matches that us, as the viewers that may not be as familiar should be looking forward to this coming Sunday?
What the matches on the card?
Yeah, like what
They,
match are you most excited for?
Miles Kamen versus Connor Mills. Miles Kamen is one of the most. I hate this word because I feel like if someone's underrated, they're just not good enough, right? But
Hmm.
Miles Kamen is honestly one of the most underrated and underappreciated wrestlers on the scene. He's been doing like so much good work around the country, and now people are just starting to take note. And again, he's even wrestled Luke for Progress, and he's not been back since. But this is his time to again show people on a platform that people are going to be looking for new people to follow and new wrestlers that they can get invested in. And obviously, Mills is just unreal. Obviously, I've done bits with him elsewhere where we've still got issues, but again, I can't take away from him the fact that he's a fucking impeccable wrestler. So Connor Mills versus Miles Kamen is going to be your banger of that show that people aren't expecting. And the other one is, I'd say, like Costume and True and Lacey. True and Lacey, me and Luke wrestled them in 2021, just before I got hurt. And they are just nutters. It's ridiculous. They're just absolutely insane. And obviously, in Lycos Gym, few problems with them still, but we can sort that. But again, can't take away from the fact they are very, very good wrestlers, and I've learned a lot from them in the past. I've had close relationships with personal relationships and friendships with them in the past, and it's unfortunately that was in the bin once they started being muppets to Luke. But it's going to be a very good match, and I just think the show as a whole. There's a load of matches, but which I can't think of off the top of my head. But you want me to pick one, Miles Kamen and Connor Mills, because that is going to be a very, very good match, and yeah, just enjoy it.
I like that, yo. And then I believe a friend of the show, Nina Samuels, is also wrestling Kanji on this card, correct?
Yeah, yes, that rings a bell. That'll be a belter, actually. That'll be a
Yeah,
belter.
we're not biased in rooting for Nina Samuels to beat her in 3 seconds instantly. Sunday Spotlight bias aside, I think she'll win that.
Nah, mate,
right.
Kanji's wicked. She won't let that happen. She won't let that
She's a
happen.
beast. She's a beast. She's a beast. I know. I know. Um, I, you know, outside of wrestling, right? When you're not wrestling and whatnot, what is your kind of like go to, hobby? Anything you do to kind of like get your mind back in reset mode and whatnot.
Mate, so I love surfing, but
Okay.
being in the centre of Manchester, there's not access to surfing. So I when I go away, I always try and pick places where I can surf, or at least I'm close to the water in some way. So Like I've been to Portugal recently. I tried in Turkey, but it just didn't happen. When I went to Florida last year, I was surfing. Cornwall, which is down south for us, amazing place. But when I finally get my car soon, I said I'm going to treat myself to a surfboard, and then on my weekends off, I can just drive up and down the UK, going to beaches where you can actually surf. I enjoy a lot of hikes, getting outdoors, because I spend a lot of my time even though I'm a personal trainer, I spend a lot of my time in the gym. I also spend a lot of time at my laptop doing like content work and obviously systems behind the bit, all the boring stuff. I like to just get outside. So hikes, especially with like the team I built through my personal training, like we always get out on team hikes and stuff like that. So yeah, just being outdoors and going out with my family, girlfriend, friends, and just your general stuff. But I don't like cinemas and stuff. They're cool, but I'd rather just be outside, just or traveling because Europe's so cheap to travel in. I could go
Mm-hmm.
to Spain or Norway or Switzerland for the weekend for like 150 quid. So I was like, if the option's there for that, then I'll try and do a little trip like that. I just enjoy making the most of my time instead of just staying in bed because that's boring. And as much as I'd like to, I just feel like shit. So I'm literally just trying to make the most of my time.
I
Get
got you.
out.
Nah, and that being productive is always a good thing too. We got a couple more minutes left. Megan, do you have any questions before we
Um,
play our? We close out the show with a game.
yeah, yeah. I just have well, I read in your interview. Well, you shared that you wrestled in Canada recently. You wrestled in the UK, and you also in your interview mentioned you wrestled in Germany.
Yes.
What was that like?
We wrestled in Germany over Bash at Berlin weekend. So that was
Okay.
super fun. So we did a collab show with Rev Pro and GWF, which was great. So we wrestled Youngbloods on the Friday. Yeah, we wrestled Youngbloods on the Friday, which was great. Again, beat them, New Japan team, job done. And then I did a scramble match on the Saturday, which I don't know if to say too much about that, but it was something. One of the wrestlers certainly needs fucking leathering for a reason that I won't get into. But yeah. But Germany was fun. We had a lot of
Okay.
fun. Getting around on like their electric scooters and seeing the city again. I was like, weekend away wrestling, cool. But more importantly, I get to see a new place. So I was like, just riding around, looking at everything, like going and exploring and just having a great time, to be honest, because it's like, this is the best of both worlds. I get to do a weekend
Right.
trip, get paid for it. So, but the German wrestling scene is great. Um, Obviously WXW, me and Luke have done bits with them. Luke more than myself now, but back in 2020, we did Carrot Weekend, which was huge. That was like a big one for us. So we wrestled each other at Ambition, and then we ended up doing night 2 of Carrot in a tag gauntlet that we ended up winning, and then wrestling for the WXW tag belts. So that was like a big one for us, especially like being 18 at the time. Like it was huge. Um, so yeah, Germany
Okay.
was fun. Germany was very fun.
Nice.
Nice
Now,
food.
I just have one last question, and then we're going to get into the game. So you're like my first interview since the news of the WWE ID program. And I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on it? Do you feel like it's good for indie wrestlers? Do you feel like it hurts
I think it
businesses?
is great. Now, I think
Okay,
it's going to be the best thing in the world for some wrestlers, and I think for other wrestlers, they will benefit from taking a different path. But I think people just outright saying that they are trying to kill the indies is fucking stupid because they don't even know what it consists of. Like, they don't know what it entails. They just see WWE, like, again, trying to get the indie wrestlers. Now, as an independent wrestler, yeah, we take a lot of pride in indie wrestling, but you have to progress within this job. Like, if you are good enough, you will want to progress within this job, and you will progress within this job. So between indie wrestling and WWE, like obviously there's a big gap. People think they're there, and then they're not because there's so much more that they look for that we don't even realize. So I think it's fucking great because it's giving people an insight to what it's like working with WWE, what they want to look for, whether they end up getting a job or not, I don't know. But again, it gives people a bit more incentive to try a bit more, obviously shape what they do into working for WWE because again, like you've got to look at this as a business. If you just look at it as a hobby, then you're probably not going to get anywhere. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, like if you're in a job where you're not progressing your salary and why am I not able to afford this? Why am I not able to afford this in the current climate? Then you're going to run into some issues. And I see wrestling the exact same. Like wrestling can be very well paid, but obviously going to WWE, that will help a lot. So it depends what people's values are. Like, I think it's a great idea. And I think in order to have a financially free life, a life that you and your family can be happy with, and obviously it's something that we have worked towards. It's like being a musician and doing small shows, and then you get offered by a big record label and going, "No, I'm all right, mate." Like, why would you turn that down? Because you want to progress and you want to get better and you want to make a name for yourself. But just because it's WWE and they are the devil, as I say on Twitter all the time, like you're fucking stupid. Like, just let people progress how they want to progress. If they want to stay on the Indies, stay on the Indies. If you want to go to New Japan, go to New Japan. If you want to go to AEW, go to AEW. If you want to go to WWE, go to WWE. Like, just enjoy what you're doing. Stop putting people down because it's fucking frustrating. And there's so many wrestlers who let this ruin their experience and their weekends and their shows because they're constantly worried about what fans think. Yes, what fans think is important, but focus on what you want in your life because otherwise you're just going to get dragged further and further away from what you actually want. And I know what I want, so I'm going to work towards that. So, yeah. Oh, rant over. But it's just annoying because people get like so opinionated on it, which is absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the
Right.
opinions are stupid. Like, why wouldn't you want to earn 6 figures a year wrestling for the company you've always wanted to wrestle for to make a
That's
change for your
right.
family? Like, live your
Which,
little dream. Like, it's absolutely baffling. Like, starting wrestling is one thing.
I agree 100% with you
Oh, mate.
personally. Obviously, I can't speak on it as much as other wrestlers are because I'm not in the world of pro wrestling. But how
Yeah.
you know, kind of answer that is the exact thought process that I've had in
right.
Yeah,
regards
like,
to the topic.
in
And
any
that's
other industry, like you wouldn't put someone down for wanting to progress or like football. Like I played football to a high level, had trials for academies. No one ever put fucking Blackburn down for trying to get a young footballer off Sunday League. Like that was never a thing. So why in wrestling the people go WWE are trying to take the independent wrestlers? No, they see value in this independent wrestler, so they are going to use it to try and help progress their business.
right.
Yeah,
It's as simple as that.
for
Like
sure.
I played with a lad who got signed to United. No one ever looked at United and went, "Hang on, why are you taking him? How dare you? You're like you pieces of
Right.
shit. How dare you take this 11-year-old lad and mold him into a footballer you want them to be?" Like
Right.
it's baffling, but again, that's just my view, and people can have whatever views they want, but that's my view, and I stand by it
Now,
because I want
I
wrestlers to do well
respect it.
because it's a fucking hard thing to do. Like I'll never say you make sacrifices because we choose to do it, but there's a lot of
mhm,
real life that people miss out on. And again, if that paycheck and that lifestyle can make a difference, then fucking go for it, man. Because
For sure.
in like 50 years, no one's
now,
gonna no one's gonna give a fuck
now,
anyway. So,
now, Ethan, do you
hello.
have any aspirations to be in the WWE one day?
But yeah, of course I do. Like it's an absolute no-brainer, and like people shy away from the question because I don't want people to know what I think.
Right.
Mate, of course we do. Like anyone in wrestling wants to get signed in some again, like I said, where it's AW, New Japan, WWE, TNA. We all want that progression. And if you don't, that's absolutely fine. But I know
Mhm.
if I don't want that progression, there is no point in me doing it
Right.
because again, I've got other things in my life that I could be doing that I could be progressing on. But I know I want to succeed in wrestling. Therefore, I am going to work towards getting signed somewhere because why wouldn't I? And again, it's not I just want WWE. I've wrestled for New Japan, that was amazing. I'd love to wrestle for AEW. I'd love to do TNA. And you just work it out. And again, if you get messages and inquiries from people, you talk it out like a business and you do what's best for you. But anyone who shies away from that question, I just think they probably don't know what they want. And that's fine because it's a scary question. But
Right.
of course, you wrestle for WWE. Like I've wanted to wrestle there all my life, and I'm not gonna let people's opinions change that because it's deemed as the not cool place. Like it's fucking cool, man.
Right.
You're wrestling in front of like 20,000 people a week on telly. Like it's amazing. So when
Yeah,
people shy away from it, I'm just like, come on, man. Just have a bit of pride in your work.
Yeah.
for
Have a bit
sure.
of pride in your work and a bit of
Well,
like pride in yourself as well. Like trust yourself, believe in yourself a bit. I doubt myself a lot, but I also believe in myself like twice as hard because if I didn't, I'd get eaten alive. And like on Sunday, for example, if I don't believe in myself against Leon and Doris, they are going to eat me alive because they are very good fucking professional wrestlers. So I need to go at them 10 times harder than they're going to come at me. And that's just the mindset I have to have because otherwise, wrestling moves so fast. And because I've spent so much time out, people will just eat you alive and you'll be done. So,
for sure. Nah, and we're excited for it. That is all the time we do have for the interview,
that's
though.
perfect.
Man, it was a pleasure having you, and
Thank
like
you
I
for having me.
mentioned, man, if y'all see it over there, man, Demand Progress, you get 50% off if you use the Watch Progress code. They got a big time show this Sunday, big time match between um the Young Guns versus man like Reese and Leon Slater. Y'all being tuned towards it. I mentioned again, salute to you, bro. Salute to Progress as well. And Megan, salute to you as well.
Oh,
In the
thank
words
you.
of Jay Uso, I always say, deuces, ooses.